Hi there, Sarah White here from knitting.about.com, knitting@craftgossip.com, and Our Daily Craft, and I am here to talk to you today about gift knitting. As I record this, it's November 30th, so we are getting down to the wire on holiday knitting, but I am here to tell you that there is still time to knit for at least some of the people on your list, as long as you have a good plan in place, and that is what I'm going to share with you today. It's 3 steps. It is not too hard for you to start thinking about your plan for gift knitting. We just need to make a list of who you're going to knit for, come up with projects that you want to knit, and be really realistic about the time that you have to knit in the next month or whenever your gift giving opportunities are happening. So first, step 1, just like Santa, we have to make a list. We need to decide who is worthy of the great knitting projects that we're going to make this season. It turns out that not everyone is worth knitting for. There are some people who just don't wear knit things, and that's fine. There are people who make fun of us for being knitters, and they definitely are off the list. So those are some easy ones to get rid of. But then you really need to think about who is worthy of your knitting. Who is really going to get excited about the fact that you're knitting something for them? Who's going to get a lot of use out of that thing? Those are the people who you really want to knit for. And then you also want to maybe think about if you're knitting for one person in a group. So say one coworker you really want to knit for, or one sibling who you've got an idea for but maybe not the others. Think about maybe trying to knit for their birthday instead of for Christmas, just in case somebody gets mad. So that's step 1, and once you have your list, you can start thinking about what kind of projects you actually want to knit. The first thing that you should think about when it comes to projects is things that you're actually going to enjoy knitting. Don't decide that you want to knit 12 garter stitch scarves if knitting 12 garter stitch scarves will make you crazy. Try to think about the projects that you normally enjoy doing and see if you can incorporate those sorts of projects into your gift list. There are 3 main approaches to gift knitting for more than one person at a time, and that's knitting the same thing for everyone, knitting within the same genre for everyone, or choosing gifts individually for each person. So examples. One year I knit 4 pairs of these. These are the Cornucopia Wristers by Tanis Gray. They were originally knit for Cascade Yarns, and the pattern's free on Ravelry. They're really cute, simple, knit flat eyelets seamed up the side, and you leave a hole for the thumb. It's a good thing for me that they are quick and easy, because even though I knit each one in a different kind of yarn, by the time you've knit 8 of them, you're about to lose your mind a little bit, because just no pattern is that interesting that you want to knit it 8 times. So that's something to think about. If you're knitting for a big group, you maybe don't want to try to knit the same thing for every person. If you have a short attention span for knitting the same thing. So the second option is to knit within a genre. So twice I have knit gifts for my husband's coworkers, and once I made scarves, and the other time I made cowls. So each person got something different, different colors, different patterns, but within that category of knitting, it sort of helps sharpen your thinking about what you're going to do and narrows it so you're not thinking about the whole world of knitting projects. Oh my goodness, what am I going to knit? When instead you can go, okay, I'm going to knit a scarf. What kind of scarf do I think this person would like, or what do I feel like knitting today? And that sort of makes it easier for you to visualize what you're going to do, or at least it does for me. The third option is to pick a different pattern for each person who you're knitting for, and while this is great for really picking something that you know that person is going to like, it takes a lot more time to think about each person and what you'd really love to knit for them. So again, that's something you might want to say for birthdays, or if you're just knitting for a couple of people, that's great. But if you've got a long list, you may want to focus it in some way that helps you refine your choices a little bit easier, such as choosing from a genre or knitting the same thing for everyone. So you have your list, and you are starting to think of the general kinds of projects that you might like to work on. The third thing that you need to do is to be really realistic about the amount of time that you have to knit between now and when your gift giving occasion is happening. December is really busy for everyone, and it can be easy at the beginning to think, oh, you know, I can knit a pair of socks in a weekend, or I'm going to have 4 hours in the car, I can knit 2 scarves, no problem. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, maybe you won't get the knitting time that you're imagining that you'll have. So what I like to suggest that people do is to underestimate the amount of knitting time you're going to have and overestimate the amount of time you think that things will take. So start with where you are and how much time you're normally knitting in a day. Say you knit an hour watching TV in the evenings. That's great. So between now and Christmas, you have basically 24 hours. If you're knitting nothing else during that time, and that's the only knitting time you have 24 hours. So if you're, say, knitting for 6 people, then you'd have 4 hours per project. Maybe that's enough, maybe it's not, depending on what you choose to knit. So, maybe you're now refining that list a little more or changing the idea of what your projects are, but at least you have an idea of how much time you actually have and how much time those things are going to take. And that is really the key to not getting overwhelmed by your knitting projects for the holidays. So now that you have your battle plan in place, I would love to offer you some more great knitting pattern ideas that you can use for gift knitting, from the coziest throw for winter to great fun and easy to knit accessories to quick little projects that you can throw together with some other things to make a great gift for someone. And that's what I'm going to do for the next couple weeks here on YouTube. So if you want to subscribe to this page, you'll get all the updates and all the project ideas. And I would love it if you left a comment below about who you're going to be knitting for and what sort of projects you're looking for, so that I can make these videos to help you do what you need to do to get your gift knitting done on time and with a minimum of stress. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow with a really great Afghan pattern.